What started as a simple photo shoot became nights filled with quiet conversations, shared confessions, and the kind of connection that grows only when two people are afraid to admit what they feel. But love is difficult when one of them belongs to the world. When airports become temporary homes, when messages arrive late, when the distance starts to stretch thin, the very thing they're trying to protect. And just when Julian thought he had learned to live without her, she came back, not as the woman everyone admired on billboards, but as someone tired of being adored by millions while being truly known by no one. Tonight, you'll hear the story of a photographer who tried to capture a woman the world thought they already understood, and the model who realized that sometimes the most beautiful thing you can do is stop running long enough to be seen. Stay close. Their love begins somewhere between the light, the distance, and the moment she walked back into his door. He had always believed photography was a way to preserve what time tried to steal, but that morning, when Julian Hart walked into the studio washed in high window light, he realized he was about to capture something he never wanted to lose, even knowing he inevitably would. She stood with her back to him, looking over the rack of clothes, the soft glow reflecting on her skin. Adriana Vale, international model. A face printed on campaigns, a body shaped by airports, a soul marked by goodbyes. When she turned, the world seemed to fall into focus. "Are you the new photographer?" she asked, low, professional, but with a curiosity slipping through the edges. "Yes," he answered. "Julian." She smiled, small, knowing, the kind that understands its own impact without exploiting it. And for the first time in a long while, he felt he was standing before something impossible to capture. Julian photographed what she didn't realize she revealed. The second after the pose, the breath before the next instruction, the vulnerability fame never allowed to surface. "You look at me differently," she said during the break. "How?" Julian asked. "Like you're trying to discover who I am, not what I'm paid to be." He wanted to tell her she was right, but the words stayed in his throat. They started meeting after shoots, small cafes, loud streets, late-night dinners. Adriana spoke about the world everyone assumed was glamorous. Hotels that felt identical, relationships that didn't survive time zones, the constant sensation of being seen, but never known. Julian listened, and took pictures only with his eyes. By the 4th month, they knew each other well enough not to talk, and were in love enough to fear ruining everything by saying it out loud. The news came on a rainy afternoon, a global campaign, 6 countries, 3 months. "I can't refuse it," she said, avoiding his gaze. "I know, but I don't want to go. But you need to." They held each other, not like lovers promising forever, but like two artists who understood the world always demanded its price. She left 2 days later. Julian took a photo of her at the airport. She smiled, sad, aware that this was a temporary goodbye, or the beginning of an unavoidable ending. During her travels, she sent short messages. "Thought of you today in Tokyo. The sea in Greece looked like one of your photos. I miss your beautiful quiet." But with time, the messages became fewer, more tired, more delayed. Until one day she wrote, "I don't want you waiting for someone who's never here." He took a long time to reply. "I never waited for your time, only for your truth." She cried in her hotel room, alone, smiling through the ache. 3 months later, Adriana returned to the country and knocked on his door without warning. Rain tangled in her hair, suitcase in hand, eyes vulnerable. "I don't want to be a pretty picture in everyone else's world anymore," she said. "I want to be real somewhere, and I want to try being real here, with you." Julian looked at her, tired, brave, human. "Then come in," he whispered, "before the perfect light disappears." She smiled. A new smile, one not meant for cameras. He pulled her gently toward him, and for the first time, she wasn't an image. She was a woman being chosen, not captured. They knew the distance would still exist. Her work wouldn't vanish. Life wouldn't suddenly become simple. But that night, as Julian set his camera aside and she rested her head against his chest, it became clear that some stories aren't about capturing, they're about accompanying, about choosing someone even when the whole world tries to pull them away. And they were ready to choose, one another, one frame at a time. And if this story left a quiet ache in your chest, if you felt the weight of distance, the softness of returning, or the beauty of being truly seen for the first time, then let this be your moment to stay. Here in Velvet Shadows, every tale is a slow, burning romance told through a photographer's eyes, where longing becomes light, silence becomes connection, and love is captured one heartbeat at a time. Subscribe to Velvet Shadows and let the next story find you, soft, cinematic, unforgettable.